And all because of him. And all because of him.
Russia is taking to the streets again. Red Square is turning into a symbol of fear and anger. Nationalists, musicians, artists are rebelling, even those who just yesterday were shouting for the motherland. And
shit, it's all about to start.
The FSB is conducting raids. Young people are being thrown into police vans, and words are already being spoken at the Kremlin walls. They're lining people up against the wall. The country is entering a new spiral of repression and panic. Breaking news. Friends, new protests are happening at the Kremlin. Moscow, Red Square, now the center of protest and fear. Every evening, new groups come out there. Nationalists, liberals, artists. Some shout, enough with the war. Others, Putin has betrayed us. They are united by one thing, hatred for the Kremlin and exhaustion from a senseless dictatorship. At this very moment, Moscow is suffocating from its own raids. The FSB and the National Guard are clearing the squares. They grab young people and drag them into police vans. On Red Square, there are dozens of detainees. Among them are artists, musicians, and street singers. Everyone who dared to sing, write, or simply speak is now considered an extremist. Everyone's
body wants to lie down, but you know yourself what that could lead to, so get up, don't whine.
The FSB is reacting just like in the 1930s. Young people are being grabbed right in the metro, and police vans are stationed in the squares. According to eyewitnesses, people are being detained even for single-person pickets. The police do not give any reasons, just say it's a special operation. At this very moment, nationalists are marching in Lyubertsy near Moscow. They are protesting against Putin. More than 100 men in masks and jackets bearing the symbols of the Russian community march through the streets, shouting slogans. Russia for Russians. Hundreds of nationalists are marching in Lyubertsy. Masks, torches, and songs about Great Russia. The police pretend not to see, but this is not a patrol. It's a new wave of Russian chauvinism. These are the same athletic guys who started the gangs of the 90s. This is no accident. It's a reaction to the regime's decay. When the authorities lose control, those who believe only in force take to the streets. The police remain silent because these are their people. The very same people who were called patriots just yesterday. In Perm, street singer Ekaterina Romanova was detained. She was singing anti-war, anti-Putin songs in support of the arrested musicians from the band Stop Time.
They say the right leg takes longer strides and we keep walking in circles. But I say we'll make it along the embankment. There are lights ahead.
Now a second case is being opened against her for organizing an unauthorized concert. The singer said, "I just want to sing without the risk of ending up behind bars." But today in Russia, even a song against Putin, against the war, is a form of protest. At the same time, a smear campaign is underway. Kremlin bots have flooded social media. They demand real prison terms for the artists, call them traitors, and compare them to terrorists. The TV channel Tsargrad has even drawn parallels between the musician and Daria Trepova, who killed the war correspondent.
Through the walls of the barrack, only the sky torments her. I will turn into a little cloud.
Any emotion, any song is declared a threat. A threat to Putin, a threat to the Kremlin regime.
Let us consider this particular situation. The graceful swans dance elegantly. Let the beautiful swans dance freely. Let them dance with serene movements. The graceful swans dance beautifully.
These are the lyrics from Noise MC's song about Swan Lake. Many have heard them, but they have never sounded as clear, as loud, and as convincing as they did on this square, performed by this huge crowd of people. And those to whom these words are addressed, those very fucking people, are starting to realize that they are the fucking ones, the inhumans. And this describes them very precisely, very meaningfully, very convincingly. And this phrase has a chance to stick to them somehow. Just as back in the day the phrase crooks and thieves stuck to them, now the phrase fucking people will stick as well. And that's absolutely right. I fully approve of this.
The migrant protests in the Moscow region and Moscow haven't even died down yet. The migrant riots against Muscovites when already the nationalists have announced their own new riot. And while some are being jailed for singing songs, others are being called to guard the oil refineries. In
connection with the emerging threat of the use of long-range unmanned aerial vehicles by the armed forces of Ukraine, there is now a risk of strikes on important aviation facilities and other residential areas in the Tyumen region.
reservists are being lured into work. 30 to 50,000 rubles for the risk of dying in the next explosion. This isn't an army, it's a meat grinder. The regime is literally holding the country together with fear and hopelessness. In
order to increase the level of protection for important critical infrastructure, a decision has been made to employ the most well-prepared, patriotically minded citizens to guard these sites. A reservist is considered to be a citizen who is in the reserve and has signed a contract with the Ministry of Defense, who is medically fit and between the ages of 18 and 50. The primary difference between a reservist and a contract military serviceman is that the reservist integrates their regular employment with being in the dedicated military reserve force. I would like to note that reservists involved in the protection of important and critical facilities are not deployed in special military operations and will carry out their duties within the territory of the region where the critical facility is located. In our case, this is the Tyumen region. I would like to note that the period of being in this reserve is 60 days. A mandatory requirement is that reservists must undergo compulsory training lasting 14 days under the guidance of experienced specialists and instructors on the grounds of the Tyumen Engineering School.
And against the backdrop of this madness, Ilya Medvedev's words, "the death penalty," are sometimes useful. The phrase, as if it had come straight from his father's mouth, has simply become a meme. But Russians are in no mood to laugh. Firing squads. Zelenogradsk is now absolutely not a metaphor.
Instead of installing proper benches for people on the renovated Zelenogradsk promenade, they put this here. What is this even for, and how is one supposed to use it? I've heard that these benches are called firing squad walls. It's unclear what the city administration was thinking when they designed this, but it was clearly not about making things comfortable and convenient for people. And what do you think about these standing benches? Will they ever put in proper ones, or will they just leave this?
People see in them a reflection of the future where not even songs remain. Today, Russia stands between a song and a police van, between the square and the wall. And even if the Kremlin once again declares that everything is under control, that it's all over, control is lost. And now fear is on both sides of the barricades.
Ability to see, as in the fathers of Khatanayan speech, we will have to give and achieve. And this night of wanderings and meetings, it too will trample with its dirty, battered heel. But I will not yield to it, not a single little line, not a single dash. I move forward as if for water.
Friends, there are mass protests near St. Petersburg, Moscow, St. Petersburg, Perm, and other regions of Russia, police vans, the FSB, and other special services that are tracking young people who sing anti-war and anti-Putin songs. And of course, right-wing radical groups in the center of Moscow and migrant riots. All of this shows that the Kremlin is losing its power. Friends, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dar Shastlivaya. And now take a look at this analysis of top-tier Russian propaganda.
It seems to me that acting psychologically is impossible for a woman, but a psychologist And a doctor, a psychologist, explains that this is real life, and today others are in need of this real life. I want to tell you that in our country, for a number of reasons, there are currently a lot of childless couples who cannot have children. And the waiting list for adopting small healthy children is very long. And I think that maybe a different approach is needed here, yes, to agree with the woman that she cannot do it. And in the future, she does not want this child, but this child can live in another family.
The scariest thing is that we, men, go crazy, while women, they stick to their own. Because if there is no man, a woman is like a leaf blown here and there. Because she is meant to be part of a man, you see. She was taken from him and should be joined to him. She cannot exist on her own. Do you understand? That's the point. That's why men are kind of foolish and scary. These foolish men are raised by single mothers, who themselves became that way back then. You see how frightening that is. That's how it is. That's why Christianity is becoming, sick, even frightening. And you wonder, what should we do? So for now, no one should be allowed into this area.
Basically, a squadron of 18 Poseidons would completely destroy the very concept of the US as a maritime civilization. Because in that case, all bases would be wiped out. All major port cities and, in general, all infrastructure within roughly a 30 to 40 kilometer zone would be destroyed. And by the way, that's where 75% of the US population lives. Moreover, let me repeat, the Americans simply have nothing to counter these strikes with, literally nothing. No aircraft carriers, no super secret personal US submarine can do anything about it. Not a single torpedo can catch up with our torpedo. They just don't have those speeds. That is, unless it's a sudden random head-on collision, but that won't change much because the megaton charge in that case...
Megaton?
No, I'm talking in megaton quantities.
Continued, yes. Megaton. I said, Vladimir Vladimirovich, more than Sarmat will have. You say, let's just hit Kyiv. Yeah, that's a worm. That's a worm. Where did it even come from? And now let's... Why am I going? Why am I going? Well, what?
Why am I going?
Let me tell you this. Leave Kyiv. It'll be easier. Leave Kyiv. Listen, Vladimir Petrovich, so... Just stand up and walk out. Just like the guys in Belgorod are forced to do now. Am I supposed to feel sorry for the people of Kyiv now? Not a chance. There's no life as it is. Not a chance. That's it. No more Kyiv. And there never will be again. Why? Because you cursed this city, you betrayed it. You betrayed its holy places. You desecrated them. You have no right to be there because you are demons who have betrayed your own history and your own faith. Purification, water and fire. You yourselves said this on our broadcasts, referring to the predictions of clergymen. Let's assume the worst case scenario. We are working under conditions of complete isolation. So what? Well, we'll just keep living under these conditions. No, we'll finally switch to other types of weaponry. At last we'll strike with full force. Finally, we'll stop playing around. So let's do it right here. Let's just finally wipe everything off the face of the earth and be done with it. Regarding weaponry, this is actually a very important thing, because if, say, Oreshnik, what you are insisting on, that's really Paris, London, and all the rest, then what about Washington, Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles? We could just circle around Kiev a few times like that. It didn't come from us. It wasn't from us. And if it wasn't from us, then who sent it? Where did it come from? That's even possible. But let's assume the worst case scenario. We're operating under conditions of complete isolation. So what? Well, we'll just keep living under these conditions? No, we'll finally switch to other types of weaponry. At last, we'll strike with full force. Finally, we'll stop playing around, like, let's do it here. Finally, we'll just wipe everything off the face of the earth and be done with it. Regarding weaponry, that's actually a very important issue. Because if it's like the Hazel, is that what you're insisting on? Are you really talking about Paris, London, and all the rest? No, not Paris or London. It's Washington, Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles. We could just fly around Kiev a few times like that, It didn't come from us. It wasn't from us. Then not from us. Who sent it? From where? In war, it's not this side or that side that wins. It's the furious ones, the ones who break the enemy's will to resist. So I'll say it again. We finally started wiping them out for good. There will be no life in Kharkiv, nor in Poltava, nor in Mykolaiv, nor in Odessa. These cities will cease to exist, and so will Kyiv. If the civilians don't realize that they've been chosen as expendable material and don't overthrow their Nazi government, don't have the strength? At least leave those cities. Understand that you're being used as a human shield. No strength to leave? I'm sorry. Let me remind you of the fate of Sodom and Gomorrah. There were surely many residents there too, who were simply unable to leave their homes. They were simply forced to live there.
These guys are with me. If someone dropped there, where soon our world will shine at our cry, to cast away at the dawn horizon, where we will cast our shadow again, like a burdensome load that has reached its inconvenient end. Get up quickly, damn it! I'm not leaving you here. There will indeed be a bright shining streak in this profound darkness, where soft, gentle snow falls without a single trace of prosperity, and all of you, the new experts, will be clearly reflected in the vast, open skies. On the pristine sheets of the dawn's early rays, we will be beautifully safe. Yes, I believe in the one who brings light. On the leaves of the best newspapers, beauty by the temples. Thank you.
Where are we, shadows, to be cast off again like a convenient burden left in the square? Get up quickly, damn it, I'm not leaving you here. There will be a bright streak in this darkness, as lightless as snow at the poles. New stems will break through the ashes toward the sky. Dew will sparkle on the leaves in the rays of dawn. Yes, I truly believe that there will be a wonderfully bright streak in this profound darkness, which is as utterly impenetrable as the deep snow at the Earth's poles and its stems. New ones will break through the ashes toward the sky, and on the leaves in the rays of dawn dew will sparkle. Life goes on, a matchbox by the bush, but in the kitchen a blue flower. To be continued. The gas is burning brightly, cigarettes held firmly in hand, and a warm cup of tea sits peacefully on the table. It's all really quite simple, and there is absolutely nothing else to consider or worry about. Everything is within us. Our hearts demand change, but it turned into a bare hatch, and everything is going according to plan. Everything is going according to plan. pondering deeply about my predetermined fate and destiny. Yes, I truly wanted to retire. I solemnly vowed not to take any active part in the grand military game. But upon my old worn cap, there are still emblazoned the iconic sickle, the powerful hammer, and the radiant star. Oh, how truly touching and profoundly symbolic. The enduring sickle and the mighty hammer and the brilliant star. A truly remarkable and daring lantern indeed. Expectations are drifting and everything is going according to plan. Louder! Everything is going according to plan. And my dear wife, yes, was indeed fed by the esteemed colonel.